Hello, my little goblins and goblets. We're here, and guess what we're playing? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We are playing Mutants, and let me just say, I've been wanting to play this deck for a while. I just kept putting it off for some reason, and I kind of regret putting it off. It's actually a lot of fun. So let's look at what we got here. We're running 3 Mutant 05s, which is one of our best monsters, but not the best monster. The best monster is actually the rare, surprisingly, because it lets us tutor for a spell and trap. And what tutor means, for you people who don't know what that means, it just means grab it from our deck, specifically search for it. So when you hear me say tutor, that's what I mean. So ST46 allows us to tutor for one of our traps. Our best trap, pretty much the best card in our deck, is Mutant Cry, which lets us fusion summon in the main phase into a mutant fusion monster from the extra deck by shuffling materials that are banished on the field or in the graveyard. So this deck has recursion. If you want to play a control deck, because that's kind of how I play it, if you want to play a control deck that can really grind out some matches, this is definitely gonna be a lot of fun. If you like the Dynamorph deck I showed you guys, you're gonna like this one, because I feel like it's not like the same feel, but the recursion, like, you know how the deck can grind out people, that's what it kind of feels with this. A lot of fun. We're running D-Shifter, 3 copies, so people think we're playing Floateries and they instantly scoop. That's the main reason why. No, it's not the main reason why we play it. The mutant cards have a lot of synergy with being banished, so we want to run a lot of cards that banish because it screws over your opponent and not you. So we got D-Shifter and Macrocosmos. This card, I'm telling you right now, will instantly win you the game sometimes. Same thing. We're playing like 5 cards in the deck that instantly win you the game. So Macrocosmos, and there can only be one. And Shifter can instantly end your opponent's turn. So it's pretty damn good. Also, something I really like about Shifter and just like banishing cards in general is they don't affect Ash Blossom. So you never have to worry about your Ash Blossom getting called by the grave, which is why we're not playing Called by the Grave. Because it seems counterproductive if we're trying to set up Macrocosmos and stuff. Other than that, the dex looks pretty solid. We're running 1 Arsenal and 2 Mutant Beasts. Mutant Beasts can negate a spell. Arsenal can banish a monster in the field. And we also running, since we're banishing a lot of cards, we're running Nemesis Corridor, which has some negative synergy with the There Can Only Be One. But it's not that big of a deal, especially if you end up going first and you set us up turn 1. It's not that big of a deal. Because Thunder Dragon Colossus could shut an opponent out of the game, because not being able to search when you're playing a lot of search cards in your deck could be pretty devastating. I can tell you right now, if someone Thunder Dragon Colossus me when I trying to play one of these cards, probably fucked. Probably losing that game. Well, let's get into the games, and you guys can see how the deck plays, and then, afterwards we can do a recap, see how everything went. Hello, everybody. We're here for game number 1, and it is a spicy one. Very, very tough match. Not even that the matchup's tough. The deck I'm playing right now is geared towards going first, with cards like There Can Only Be One and stuff. Like, it really helps. Like, if I had There Could Only Be One, he could even do this play. Like, he couldn't even do that. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to be a dick to my opponent, but if I went first, like, this would have been a stomp. But now he's got a really annoying board to deal with. So he played Teleport. He plays this trap. This trap is like, it's like whatever. I think it's kind of trolled, to be honest. But if he has all 3 Sacred Beasts on the field, he gets to have insane effects. But the first effect, he just gains life points. Life points are annoying, and, like, if it stays up long enough, like, he's going to gain a shitload. But we potted P, because I kept feeling that he had an Ash. So I'm like, well, if he doesn't do potted P, then maybe he doesn't have it. And then he fucking Ashed my Mutant, so... This was devastating, because I need a level 8 in the graveyard or in the Banish Zone. Or on the field. And I was not able to get that. So we're going to have to go into quarter, into Colossus, which just gave our opponent like fucking a million life points. So at this point, I have to look, like my game plan isn't like OTKOing my opponent. And it usually never is. My game plan is just grind the match out until he wants to end himself, you know? Until he wants to unalive himself. That's what I kind of have to do. And if you play control tech, that's kind of what you try to do anyway. So this card's really annoying. So the first spell, I think it's the first spell. Or no, I think he might activate it. I'm not 100% sure. I think he activates it. But he can negate a spell and trap each turn just by shifting this into defense, which is really annoying. So, yep. We have to make really shitty plays to go into Arsenal because we need a level 8 on the field. I flip, there can only be one. He activates Twin Twisters, pops both of them. And then I activate Expansion. And Expansion gets countered. So I think this is like the first time. I don't know. I can't tell. I honestly can't tell. It does, the way it reads, it sounds like he gets to activate whenever he wants. But it does. I don't know. The way it looked, it doesn't look like he does. Even when I was playing the match, it was like instant. Like it didn't even have a decision. I don't know. Well, we popped the field spell because the field spell keeps giving him cards each turn, and it prevents me from popping him on. So I have to get 46. I take 1k. Is what it is. Now I have to like my opponent's at fucking a million life points, right? So we're really gonna have to be on the game plan of trying to make our opponent end themselves or quit. The dude's at 22,000 life points. I'm at like he has legit 20,000 more life points than me. 20,000. If I win this, I'm an absolute G. And you guys already know I am, so... so we negate the Cerulean Skyfire with the Imperm. And now we play Mutant Synthesis, which is going to pop. And now he sacrificed my card to Gardala. So that means he Kaiju'd me twice. I don't know if you guys remember that. So my hope he doesn't have 3 fucking Kaijus. And then he has the Ash Blossom for my Mutant 05. Things are just not going my way. Simple as that. But we can use Mutant 05 to special summon Beast. And now we can use Mutant Fusion. So the beautiful thing about Mutant Fusion, if your opponent plays a card or effect on your turn, Mutant Fusion allows you to use a card from the graveyard and the extra deck. Not the extra deck. And your deck. So this allows me to go into our ultimate boss monster, which is rightly named Ultimus, Mutant Ultimus, and he's a big boy. I got 25k life points to work down. It's gonna take a while. Our opponent can AFK for like fucking 5 turns, and you'll be fine. More than that, he can AFK for fucking 5 turns straight, and he'll be fine. So he's gonna play this. We want to negate this effect because it's broken. The thing that annoys me is this card is supposed to banish the card, right? But it's in the graveyard, and it doesn't get banished. But if you read how this card says, negate the activation if you do banish that card. Like, it should get banished, right? But it is what it is. I don't know. It's kind of annoying. It was just annoying because he was able to grab Tree. He was able to grab the Fallen Paradise. And our opponent is going to activate their card here. We're going to banish a spell, and we're going to banish this from the field. Goodbye. And our opponent concedes. 25k life points, and he still loses the game. Maybe that just tells you something about Sacred Beast, or maybe I'm insane. I don't know. Hello, we're here for game number 2, and this game isn't actually anything particularly interesting. I just had so many people in my stream saying that Dimension Shifter should be called Brick Shifter. because it just keeps breaking my hand. But this is the reason why you run it. Our opponent's playing Mathmex. They're going first. Again, dude, if we were going first, this was an auto win, by the way. There could only be one way to shut his whole deck down. But he's playing Mathmech, whatever. But look, all his cards are getting banished. He's not going to be able to recur them. He can't do anything. He can't, like, I don't know if you guys know how Cyberus works. They need to recur a bunch of cards from the graveyard. And this is his ending field because of it. And he just concedes because he's about to get his ass blown out. No. He would have lost that game horribly. Like, if he played it right, not like a complete idiot like that. If he actually just passed the turn because he couldn't do anything, and now it's my turn, he would have lost so badly. I would have just played There Can Only Be One. I would have had Thunder Dragon Colossal up, and I would have had Mutant set up. He was absolutely butt-fucked. I just wanted to show you the power of Shifter. Yes, Shifter can be a brick sometimes, but the amount of games you win off of Shifter is like you can't replace it. You really can't replace it. Hello, everybody. We're here for game number 3, and we got double brick Shifter in the hand. I was just talking about how good Shifter was, and then I opened double Shifter. It's just fucking hilarious. And Shifter does absolutely nothing against Time Lord, so we just took 4K to the face. If you guys are wondering, these games aren't in Diamond because this is a fresh account. These games are actually take place from Gold to Platinum. I didn't hit Platinum on stream. I was Gold 1, I think, on stream. And then I hit Platinum off stream. So some of these games are in Platinum. But this game, I think, is particularly in Gold. Because you know how you can tell? It's because you're not playing against branded Fusion every game. That's how you normally can tell that you're not playing in Diamond. I'm about to die to Gold. I'm about to die to Time Shifters. Time Lords, I mean. We have to go into Synthesis. Synthesis gonna pop the back row. We act and then watch Quaking Mirror Force. These people are troll as hell, dude. It's kind of fun though. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of fun. So we got 46. 46 is gonna go to Arsenal. So my best bet is when he activates that effect, I can use Arsenal to banish it from the field. But then he imperms Synthesis, which I can stop. What is he going to do again? Oh, he plays this. Yeah, this kind of bites. So he's going to bounce these both back. But I do get to banish this. But I take 6 hundo. And now I can Mutant Cry, end of his turn, to get rid of this. We go into another Synthesis. It's all Gucci. Poppy. Trying to play Threatening Roar. No, sir. There Can Only Be One's probably the absolute worst draw. So, the beautiful thing about Synthesis, the secondary effect besides the pop, anytime your opponent activates a spell, trap, or monster, you can activate Synthesis, and he becomes unaffected by that type of card for the entire turn. So, like, when your opponent activates shit like a trap or something, or even Magic Cylinder, like, this will just become unaffected, and it won't actually do anything. I think I really like that effect, because I think it pisses people off. I know it would bother me. Alright, so here we get Mutant 05. Honestly, I should have done, like, my B, because if I actually did all this preemptively, I could have had him down to, like, no life points. It doesn't really matter. So if you're wondering why I went to double 8s, I needed a way of stopping it. So we go into Ultimus. Ultimus can negate and banish. So he can't attack. He pretty much has to sit there doing nothing. They activate Torrential Tribute. We're just going to activate Ultimus. There's literally no reason. The nice thing, too, if he ends up popping or destroying Ultimus, right? Ultimus lets you get 3 cards for 3 mutant cards from your banish zone, which is really nice. So that's why you kind of want to be banishing the traps too, because you can recur them back into your hand. which is sick. Our opponent plays Pot of Duality. I have no spells in the graveyard, but remember, Mutant Beast negates his spell. I think it banishes it too. Yeah, it banishes it. Pretty sick. Our opponent just passes, and we're about to give him the good old deep dickin'. Again, it was against Time Lords, but pretty good match because I think our deck particularly doesn't have that many answers to the Time Lords. We don't have that many negate effects. Alrighty, we're here for game number 4, and our hand is looking like something. Looking like something a mother can only love. And as you can tell, I might have the milkers, but I'm definitely not a mother. We're playing against Cringe and Dibion. Holy shit, what the fuck happened? We went into a different galaxy. Not editing that out, by the way. We're keeping that in. You guys need to know the process that happens, you know? So our opponent's doing like a 40-minute turn with Galateo. I'm about to fall asleep. So we're gonna fast forward through this. He's doing some basic fucking Orcus shit. But he's playing Orcus and Dibion. I actually looked at his deck after. And it's pretty neat. It's like almost like split down the middle. Kind of odd. Alright, so his board is like pretty strong though. Like he's got Galateo, right? He has IP Masquerena. So at bare minimum, he's going to be able to summon back Dingirsu. He'll be able to activate Galateo's effect to put Symbol back in his deck, which will allow the Dingirsu to come out when he uses Orcus Nightmare. And then he'll be able to use IP Masquerena to go into Mech Knight. He can go into Apollosa. There's a lot of things you can do here. So I was a little concerned. We activated 05. And then he just chains Galateo with IP. And this was... Out of every option I told you there, I had not even the slightest idea in my brain that I was about to get Underworld Goddess. Not even the fucking slightest. God couldn't prepare me for this. Because I was dumbfounded. I think that's, in my opinion, such a misplay. So we still have to deal with Dingirsu. But guess what? Synthesis deals with Dingirsu pretty easily. So we actually do help. We actually pop over here, the Endymion. I shouldn't have activated Synthesis to this. Because I feel like it made my opponent read the rest of this card's effect. So if I were you, hold off. So I place a card I want him to hit. So I'm going to give you guys a secret tip. Place the card you want your opponent to destroy in the middle. Usually, if the first card you place is usually the card your opponent will destroy. Just like almost every card game, I've always noticed this. I think it's always true. So that's a little tip of wisdom. Happens a lot. So he ends up popping the middle again. Because now we want to hit him in Macrocosmos. So if you guys don't know this, Macrocosmos with there can only be one absolutely butt fucks his entire deck. He is so screwed. Like, I am not kidding you. Like, yes, he has Underworld Goddess. He's locked out of Machine completely. And he's pretty much limited to just one spellcaster. Now, you might say, hey, Fatsoid, aren't you in a damaging position yourself? And I would say, kinda, but not really. As I have number 46. And we know this card's a blank. You can't even use it. And he called by the grave, the one I had in the graveyard, the 05. But this isn't the one I actually cared about. So there's two things. There's one effect I actually cared about, which was 46, and he's not hitting it. I literally don't know why I did that. I think I did this. I don't know why I did that. You guys can call me stupid boy in the chat. Actually, in the comment section, say Papa Zoid, why did you do that? And I'll respond, I don't know, my child. I don't know. He has played Servant Endymion. Alright, so now Ultimus can take over the game. Even though we only have 2 negates, actually. Which is kind of unfortunate. We have 2 negates. So I grabbed Imperm here. Because actually, if you look at those cards I had, even though they all seemed very strong, Nemesis Corridor, I actually can't go into Thunder Dragon with it. Because there can only be one blocks it. Mutant 46 is a Psychic, so I can't even summon it. Macrocosmos, I already have one on the field. It's redundant. If he's gonna have spot removal, if he's gonna have back row removal, it's gonna be like a hard piece anyway. And lastly, Ash Blossom was the other choice that I was actually contemplating because everything else was kind of pointless. Infinite, I guess you could make an argument for expansion, but I don't think this deck really runs that many like board wipes, to be honest. But I grabbed Imperm just in case. I have nothing to negate monsters right now, so I wanted like something for that. So he plays Upstart Goblin. We just let that. Who gives a shit? It's our turn. We're gonna pop the Endymion, and it gets banished because it is a pendulum, and pendulums don't go to this zone if you have Macrocosmos out. We naturally drew the corridor, so we're actually just going to summon it for damage. But again, we can't actually do anything with it, unfortunately. Our opponent's about to get fucking slapped the hell up. So he plays Endymion. It's a desperate move by him. He can only keep one of them. He just quits. GG. I thought that was a pretty good game. Because again, we're going second. Which is not what we really want to be doing. But it just kind of shows you can really grind out those games. Hello everybody. This is game number 5. And our hand is ass. Like our hand is really dookie. But you know what? We're playing D-Shifter. And our opponent is playing Salads. Do you know what that means? Salomon Great gets absolutely butt-fucked if they can't put cards in their graveyard. And the fact we have 2 Macrocosmos, it's like GG. His only out to Macrocosmos in the deck, in the entirety of the deck, will probably be Foxy. And Foxy's never going to hit the graveyard. So he might negate our 46, which is like, okay, cool. Right? But guess what? He activates this like he's actually going to use it. He's not. We summon our beast. He activates it. Everything's getting banished. Look at this poor bastard. This guy. Most Salad decks, too, only run 2 Foxies to begin with. He's so boned, dude. Now we're activating double macro. Dude. It's so over. I just wanted to show the power of, like, these types of cards against like certain decks. My goodness. Dude, even if you think about it, even like decks like Brandon and shit, if you fucking Macrocosmos them turn 1, like at the start of their turn, they're just so boned. Like they a lot of the cards need to go to the graveyard first to activate, especially like Mirror Jade's effect. Like Mirror Jade, when you're supposed to get rid of the Albion. Albion's not going to search if it's not in the graveyard, so it's a good counter. Hello, everybody. This is Game 6. Another surprise. Our opponent just ends the turn and passes it over. The only shit thing is our deck's really bad at trying to OTKO people, which is unfortunate. Like, the max damage we could possibly do this turn, if we actually wanted to just pump out as much raw damage as possible, the max damage we would have been able to do is like 55. We do like 5,600, which is like, if you're not killing your opponent, you might as well just not bother. We only set 1 mutant call because we don't need to. You can only activate 1 per turn. There's an argument to set it. I just get afraid I'm gonna get harpies. So we're negating the Branded Lost. because that kind of stops us from actually even doing anything. He plays Fallen of Albaz and just autos us. So right now, I think we're in a pretty good position to win this game. I play Synthesis. Synthesis is going to pop back row over here. It's Thunder Dragon Fusion, kind of unfortunate. We're going to play Emergency. Emergency is always a great card. It's like literally your best starter because it lets you pretty much do full combo. So we summon Mutant Beast. Then we're going to do Mutant Fusion into another Synthesis. And then this Synthesis is popping that card. Set 2. Start beating his ass in. Guys at 1700. Our opponent top deck's Aliber, which is really good top deck for him. And you might say, oh, how do you know it's a top deck? He would have fucking played that last turn, you morons. Obviously, it's a top deck. Dude, you're telling me he would have just played a normal Fallen of Albaz over playing Aliber? That's so dumb. Yeah, it was a top deck. He top decked Aliber. Really good. And now he can use Thunder Dragon Fusion. Now, this is where it's going to bite me. I know he has Branded Fusion. I need to save Ultimus for this. But it's really going to depend on what's his hand. But he adds the right card, dude. He adds the right card to his hand. Really fucking unfortunate. And he had the second fucking Thunder Dark. So now he's going to be able to activate this like multiple times. Which fucks me over, dude. Honestly, I didn't negate the first time because I thought this was a once per turn effect. Now you can just activate this 300 times. So now this time I have to actually negate because I die if I I'm screwed. I'm doomed if I do, doomed if I don't. Because if he destroys this, then I don't get to do anything anyway, right? There was argument, though, for letting him destroy it. Just so I can get one of these cards back. But I only get one because the way this reads, you can only get Monster, Spell, and Trap. You can only get one of each. So it's not like 3 of any card. But yeah. What? This is so dumb, dude. This is why I just want to point out. Like, if you let your opponent get one Branded Fusion off, you just lose the game. Like, isn't that crazy? This guy went from being, like, completely useless, doing nothing, to winning the game off of one Branded Fusion. That's nuts. That's a humbling game for the end, to end this. Let's go to the recap, and we can lick our wounds there. I want to take this time to say, please subscribe. It helps the channel out. Don't you want to see me grow so I could be, like, some of the top Yugioh-tubers? You know, really cool. Woo, Yugioh-tuber. That'd be neat, right? We play against other guys you like. Maybe just me. Like, maybe just clone myself and play against myself. Play with myself. That'll be my OnlyFans content. No, I'm kidding. But please consider subscribing. It helps a lot. Join the Discord, too. I love having more people in there. It's a lot of fun. And we try and plan some stuff. We're going to try and plan more events in the future. So, thank you, and let's get to the rest of the video. All right, here we are for the recap. How did the deck do? Is the deck good? Does my father even love me? That's a lot of questions we got to ask. No for the last one, but for the first two, is the deck good? Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I think it's like, I don't think it's like a meme deck either. I think it's like decent. It's definitely not like I'm bringing this to a tournament and winning the tournament type deck. But it definitely could put up a fight, and it's very surprising. Not many, dude. I don't think anyone fucking ever played against mutants on fucking ladder. I know I might have played against it out of like the thousands of hours I have in this game. I think I might have played against it like once. But the deck was a lot better than what I expected. Synthesis, very strong card. Ultimus can take over the game by itself. Unfortunately, out of all the games I've never gone to go into Omega. I've actually never really gotten to use Gamma. You know what that tells me? That tells me that Gamma is still good. It's just the elo that I might have been playing in. Maybe people just weren't playing enough hand traps in their deck, because Gamma gets a lot better when your opponent has a lot of hand traps. So something I was hoping to do all the time was I would summon my ST46, get the trap, activate its effect, banish the summon beast, and someone would ash me. And since I had no monsters on the field, I would be able to Gamma. So not only would I got beast, I would get a opening of Framelord Gamma, Omega, which would be nuts. That's what I was hoping to happen. But unfortunately, that never kind of came through. I still think it's a really good card in the deck, so I wouldn't take it out. Emergency Teleport's amazing. So essentially, if you guys are looking at like the starters, so the starters with M05 and 46, you really want to be opening 46. So let's look at the odds of opening like this card in our hand. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because I'm counting this as well, because technically you'll have it for next turn, right? So 6, 9, 11. 11 chances of opening it in your opening hand. So you have a high chance of opening it. If you're me, you open it once in a while. You'll open these you'll open these two cards more than you open one of these cards, which is surprising. And then you'll never open Pot of P. Now that this card's at 1, I'll never see it again, because that's just my luck. So let's talk about the tier list. So what would this rank on a scale of 1 to 10, right? On a scale of 1 to 10, I would say it's a solid 7, 7.5. I think I'm pretty confident putting it there. I know I put a lot of decks there. I put a lot of decks that aren't like tournament worthy. Like, they're just rogue fringe decks. And that's what this is. It's like a tier 3.5 rogue deck. That's what it is. Really fun though. I'm going to say that. I'm talking about a fun factor here. If we're putting this on the fun scale, I'm going to say this is like an 8.5. It's pretty fun. It's a lot of my cup of tea, is what I'm going to say. Let's just talk about real quick before we wrap up the video, the powerhouse and what you're supposed to do turn 1. I know you guys watch the games, but your best turn 1 in this deck, right, is you set Macrocosmos. You have 5 cards in your hand, right? Count them, 5 cards in your hand. You set Macrocosmos. There can only be one with Mutant Cry. And you have a Mutant Beast on the field with a Thunder Dragon Colossus. That is the best hand you can possibly have. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments what you guys want to see next. I will say Friday's video is already pre-prepared because I thought I was getting hit with a large hurricane. It looks like it's a small hurricane, like a tropical storm almost, for us, for where I am. So, yeah, I like to be prepared, and who knows, my power goes out to random shit. So I am not even kidding you. This morning my power was out because a squirrel decided to suicide jump into the electrical box that's on the power line. I think they call them I don't know what they call them, but a suicide dived into that, made a huge explosion or exploding noise, and my power was out for 4 hours this morning. So pretty unlucky. That's all I'm gonna say, is the power goes out randomly anyway. So all right, hope you guys have a good one, and goodbye.